From the heart of Juggerdock.
Oh, buddy.
5 seconds in, I've already screwed up the thing.
5?
Just stop, please. It's Mr. 100 and the 5-Star Man. We're back again. Myself, Shannon Young. I am Mr. 100. All 100 pieces. And down at the end of the table is the 5-Star Man, Asa Gray.
Yes.
And I've got Juggerduck on the brain, so I apologize if that name comes up more than once tonight.
Who doesn't?
Juggerduck
It's the sensation that's sweeping the nation.
So, if you don't know what we're talking about, last night on Nerd Up, Allie and I were on.
That was Sunday night.
What was yesterday?
Yesterday was Monday.
Man, this whole being closed on Monday is throwing me off still. So, yeah, Sunday night, Allie and I were on Nerd Up. Thank you guys so much for having us. I appreciate it. It's always fun to be on there. Don't invite me again after what happened on Sunday.
Just watch your language.
And, oh, God bless it. I didn't know bitch wasn't a word you could say on Nerd Up. I apologize. But we were talking about comics, and we're talking about Cosmic Ghost Rider, which I forgot you guys had told me was the Punisher.
Yes.
Which alone blows my mind that is where Frank Castle is at this point.
Frank Castle has had a long, winding journey.
Yes, he has.
In the last few years.
I mean, you go from Frank Castle, the Punisher, to Frankencastle, to Cosmic Ghost Rider. I mean, dude's been all over the place. And in looking up Cosmic Ghost Rider, I found a picture from a cover that was Cosmic Ghost Rider facing off against Cable, Jubilee, Rocket Raccoon, a bunch of other people I can't remember, and Juggerduck, which is literally the Juggernaut with a duck bill. And I thought, how has Jesse not told me about this? One, Jubilee's on the cover. Jubilee alone should have been a hey.
I'm pretty sure we have talked about it before. And I'm willing to bet we did tell you. Because not only is it Jubilee, it's like normal Jubilee. She's not a vampire anymore.
Right, but you didn't say anything about Juggerduck?
And that's what, and I don't know, maybe our brains are just like...
Well, that's the crazy thing about it.
We're just trying to protect ourselves from that kind of hard truths.
It's almost like you guys didn't actually know about the Juggerduck. Like, even you knew what it was and you knew it existed, but you didn't know until I told you that the Juggerduck was a thing. It didn't click.
Right.
And now it's like...
Then it's a Mandela effect.
Yeah. Yeah. You thought it was the duck or not. But it was in reality the Juggerduck.
I can't deal with the Juggerduck.
It's so close. Every time we talk about it, it feels like you're so close to saying something racist by accident that if you slip up one thing, it's going to just go really bad.
It's just like our careers are over.
So we should probably stop talking about the Juggerduck at this point.
Right.
If you are a subscriber to our Patreon, listen to the pre-show because we talked in length about the Juggerduck.
Almost exclusively.
Yeah. So I can't give away too much here.
But the main topic for tonight, I'm really excited about. What are we going to do about these damn moon dragons?
Well, until Trump builds that moon wall. Who the hell knows?
Was Moondragon on that team as well, or was it?
No, that was the one that was on the Secret Six, I think.
Maybe. I don't know. Go back and listen to Nerd Up.
Yeah.
It's a good show. We have fun.
It was a good show, minus apparently
the talk of Juggerduck
and the cursing.
And the cursing. So much cursing.
Actually... Man, I don't know.
Did you just try to Google Moondragon?
Well, would it be Secret Six? Because isn't that a DC thing?
Yeah, that's a DC thing.
So it's definitely not Secret Six. Who the hell was Moondragon a part of?
I don't remember. I think that was another one of those, like, it was a weird, obscure... Oh, it's one of the new Guardians, I think. Because they announced the new Guardians of the Galaxy team, and there's like 1 million people on it.
Phyla-Vell,
yeah,
Adam Warlock, yeah.
Yeah, Moondragon was one of those.
Okay.
That's what... We did it. We did it, Reddit.
The most racist, non-racist show we've ever done. No, the actual topic for tonight, we're actually borrowing a little bit from the I Want to Believe and Are You Afraid of PZ-85?
It's October.
Yeah, it's October. So you can forgive us for having a little bit of a scary spin on our shows this month. And this particular eve, we are going to talk about something that Asa sent me via Facebook.
It was. I sent it via that Facebook Messenger app, available now on Play Store. I don't know. Let's try to turn it into an ad for Facebook Messenger.
If you've never heard of it.
This is great messaging service. Won't ruin your life.
Better than ICQ.
Whoa. Uh-oh. Bold claims.
The scariest urban legends from each state. This is obscure and terrifying creatures and ghost stories from the United States. And it's pretty fascinating. It's a map, and on this map, there are an urban legend for each state. We're going to read those off and talk about them tonight here on Mr. 100 and the 5-Star Man. If you like this kind of content, make sure you hit subscribe and ring that bell so you can stay
right here on YouTube.com.
Stay connected with us. And be sure to check out this Thursday when we do Are You Afraid of PZ-85 After Dark? If you like that spooky stuff, and I know you do, Hunter, pay attention. All right, let's start off. Well, actually, before we do, I do want to mention, did you know that today, Generation 4 was released for Pokemon Go?
I did not. I'm also still incredibly salty that since my office moved, I no longer am just sitting on a Pokestop.
I'm aware because it says you have not done anything in weeks.
Yeah, no, I legitimately have not even opened the app.
You're still waiting to open. I'm still waiting for you to open that gift from me.
Eventually, I'm sure I have so many gifts that have been received.
Well, one per person because you can only send one until you open the next one.
Oh yeah, but I had a bunch of friends.
Oh, gotcha.
Not a bunch. I had
I have 5.
I was pretty regularly like sending people stuff back and forth until my bag got full, and then I had to figure out what I needed to delete, and that game's a mess because I don't want to pay money to increase my bag size again.
I broke down. I bought some.
I did it once. I increased the amount of Pokemon I can carry and the amount of in my bag size of how many items I can hold.
I paid $10, but it was actually because I wanted an outfit, and I had enough left over to upgrade my bag.
I was so mad when I saw that the Team Rocket shirt you actually had to like pay money for.
Yeah, and Jesse has it. And Jesse barely plays Pokemon Go, so I feel like he wasted his money. Maybe I'm wrong, Jesse. Correct me. Correct me if I'm wrong. All right, so go check out Pokemon Go. I caught a Bidoof today. It was very exciting. Said no one ever.
There it is.
Let's talk about the scariest urban legends in each state, and we're going to start off. I think this is actually in alphabetical order.
Yeah,
by state.
By each state.
Yeah.
So you're not one to talk on like all of them, right?
Yeah, we have an hour to fill.
Jesus. Okay.
We can at least describe them. We can read the description.
Because some of these are genuinely creepy. Like when we get to where not creepy necessarily, but like have an interesting backstory. Slaughterhouse Canyon in Arizona. That one's kind of interesting. But then you get to New Hampshire, who's basically just like, yeah, there was this lady everybody hated, so everything that bad, they blamed it on her. Then they killed her. And then they just blame everything on it, and like everything bad on her still. Like, New Hampshire's lame.
We're not going to get in depth on all of them, but we can at least we can read the description that they have.
I mean, it's only an hour long. How are we not dedicating at least 50 minutes to the radioactive hornets of Nebraska?
Thought you were going to say Juggerduck?
No, we can't.
Hoping you were going to say Juggerduck. Is he on the list?
Which state is he in?
I feel like he should be.
Who created Juggerduck?
State of mental illness is where he's at. All right, let's start off in Huntsville, Alabama, and come on, you're starting strong. The urban legend from Huntsville, Alabama, the Dead Children's Playground. That sounds super creepy. During late night hours, swings move by themselves as spirits of buried children come to play. I've actually heard of this place before because it was, I want to believe, it was on a Sci-Fi Channel show that I watched called, it was like Beyond Belief, I think, or Beyond Fiction. Let me look it up real quick.
And it's one of these where it's like, without any more like in-depth backstory, I'd be like, okay, or because it's an outdoor thing and the swings move. That's just called wind. Like, I want to know what makes that creepy.
Well, God, all right, so I can't find the name of the show, and I apologize for that. But there was a show on Sci-Fi that was called, like, Beyond Belief. Beyond Belief was a show hosted by Jonathan Frakes on Fox. Different show. Good show. Mm-hmm. But it was something similar named. But they did an episode on this. I believe it was this, or something extremely similar.
Was that Beyond Belief show? And I'm sorry to derail you,
Sure.
But was that the one where Beyond Belief, fact or fiction?
Yeah.
And, like, so they would say, like, okay, here's the story. Is this real?
Yeah.
Or did we make it up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that show.
I remember that. Because it was, it's the dude from Star Trek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he would always say, the 3 of our stories tonight were really happened. And then he'd smile. 2 were made up by, and it was, oh God, he was so charming.
I completely forgot that show existed.
I love that show so much.
I did too.
And then he left, and Josh Brolin, no, not Josh, not Josh, his dad, was it John Brolin?
Probably.
The one that's married to Barbara Streisand, he took over as host. Mm-hmm. But anyway, that's not what I'm talking about. The other show that was on Sci-Fi that I can't remember the name, it was either the exact same place or something extremely similar where there was supposedly a haunted playground and the swings swung by themselves. Mm-hmm. And what they would do is they'd get sent videos by people and then they would go investigate them and try to replicate what happened to explain what it was. They'd try to debunk it.
Right.
This was one they could not debunk.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that they could figure was that it was something to do with like the magnetic pull of like the earth was causing the swing to do it because they went there. There's no wind and they're just standing there watching. approaching it, and sure enough, the swing just starts swinging by itself. But it's just one swing. The other swings,
It's not like all of them.
no, it's the other swings are completely still. So they tried pulleys, they tried ropes, they tried everything they could to make it do what it was doing. And whenever you did a pulley, like, it would be this jerky motion, like someone's pulling it, whereas before the swing was swinging perfectly like a pendulum. So they could not explain it, and they obviously didn't say that it was haunted, but they didn't know why it was doing that.
Right.
And that's pretty creepy because, like, I mean, I guess it is probably something scientific, natural, but it's pretty creepy to see.
Right.
It's unsettling.
And I like the idea that they went with a scientific approach to go in instead of just like, all right, we're setting up the EMP or EVPs to get the little soundbite of wind
kids
rustling
screaming
through it, and all of a sudden now it's a
did
full
you hear
sentence.
it?
Yeah. Let's slow it down.
But it did come in, it came inconclusive. Like,
Yeah.
they couldn't explain it. So it's one of those, they didn't say it was paranormal, but they also couldn't explain why it did it.
Yeah.
So that was very cool. In southern Alaska, where I'll be going to soon, there's the Kushtaka, which I've never heard of. It's a shape-shifting creature.
I think that's Juggerduck's sidekick.
The Juggerduck and Kushtaka.
Yeah.
It's a shape-shifting creature that is a hybrid between an otter and a man.
All right, so I got to tell you the story. I sent this to you before I read it because you especially like you and Tanner talk about, like, you know, interesting places in like nearby or in Illinois or wherever. And I thought this one was more of like, because I saw the first one, I was like, oh, there's an actual playground. That's an actual location. So I kind of assumed they would all be like actual like buildings or somewhere you could physically go.
Right. And some of them are definitely like cryptids.
And then I read this one. And then I get to number 2 where it's half otter.
The Kushtaka.
It's gonna adorable you to death.
It
Look
makes
at him use his little hands. Sometimes he takes rocks and
It's got a little
bashes.
clam. Yeah. It makes noises that mimics children and wives to lure fishermen, though they are sometimes helpful tricksters.
What does that mean? What?
I'm not saying the Kushtaka's bullshit, but it certainly sounds like
On tonight's episode of PZ85 presents Fact or Fiction.
Now, 30 of these were real. 21
oh,
we
that's
made
high.
up.
I feel like that's high because when we get to Kentucky, I saw that one.
Oh, I think I know what it is. I'm kind of curious to see. Let's move on to Kingman, Arizona, Slaughterhouse Canyon. Now, this is one that you said
This one,
sounded really cool.
legit.
Go ahead and
Sounds
read
kinda
this
cool.
one off. I'll let you do this one.
One day, a father failed to return to his cabin during the 1800s gold rush, and his family starved. The mother went insane, put on her wedding dress, and chopped her children up. Today, you can still hear her cries for forgiveness. Just
Legit creepy.
Yeah, that's kind of like a legit creepy. It hurts that these are just in like less than a paragraph. Like, you're only getting like 3 sentences.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, did she do this to keep her children from like starving to death and that horrible way to die? Or is it just like, oh no, like the hunger drove her insane and she just went full on nuts?
Well, I assume putting on the wedding dress was a sure sign that she went insane.
And this is another one where it's like, man, I wish there was like a follow-up of like, okay, what happened? Like, is it that specific cabin? Is it just, this is just something like,
which cabin is it?
Granted, I guess it is an urban legend, so these aren't necessarily factual places. I should have paid more attention to that.
Well, I would like to, I'm going to look it up real quick because I'd like to know if there's any
like factual historical background
right.
to something like that. Because the gold rush time is actually a really fascinating point in history, especially when you see just kind of the depths that humanity kind of dropped to in the desperation of trying to,
the rush for gold.
Strike it big, yeah. So
I'd also like to see if there's any, obviously paranormal evidence is always up for
because this one doesn't say that there's any haunting. It doesn't say. Well, like, never mind. The last sentence is you can still hear her cries for forgiveness. And I take it back.
That's the point
My
that
brain
gets
started
me,
working
because that makes it like super creepy to me. But if the legend is that you can still hear her cries for forgiveness, that makes me feel like there has to be some kind of evidence to say that happened.
That not only that it happened, but there is like a physical location. Like,
no,
this is where that happened.
Right. And I'm not saying that their evidence is real, but that there would be someone at least that has some kind of, we caught this on recording that would lend itself to the legend instead of just being passed down. Because we had one in Illinois.
Keep going. I just had an idea. I need to get some a pen and paper.
Okay.
Right back.
While you're doing that, I'll relay. We had an urban legend area where I'm from originally. We talked about it on the show before. It's called Wagner's Hill in Illinois. And the story went that old man Wagner accidentally chopped his wife's head off with an axe, which when you hear it when you're older, It, of course, sounds like it's a stupid ghost story, but when you were younger, you kind of believed it. But Lindsay, myself, and Bob went out to Wagner's Hill years ago and did a ghost hunt and found nothing. We came up with one picture, which is actually on our I Want to Believe Facebook page, if you guys haven't checked it out, that is of what looks like a ghostly hand kind of reaching out for me, but it also could have been a spider web caught in the flash. There's lots of things. So, yeah, places like this, sometimes the urban legend is just that. It's just a story, but it's a good story. That's certainly a better story than old man Wagner actually chopped his wife's head off. That's so basic. Whoever made that legend up sucks. It's a bad legend.
So I'm keeping track of spooky and stupid.
Okay. Are you just gonna write down the state?
No, I'm just tally marks, and we're gonna keep a final score.
Oh, okay.
It's two.
So right now I would say it's 2v1, 2 spooky, 1 stupid.
2 spooky, 1 stupid. Yeah.
All right. So definitely a good one for Slaughterhouse. Let's move on to the Dog Boy of Quitman, Arkansas.
Just the name of that kind of tells me where I think that one's gonna go.
Wish we had Austin Lane on the phone for this one. Maybe he could tell us.
Maybe he knows.
A werewolf-like ghost walks on all fours and haunts his childhood home. This myth is based on the sad story of a real man, Gerald Bettis, who was rumored to experiment on stray animals and reportedly abused his elderly parents. All right, so this one's a weird one for me. Like, I don't think it's stupid, but it's not really spooky either. It just sounds really kind of sad and, like, cruel.
So the story behind it is kind of unsettling, and, like, again, that seems interesting, but what the actual legacy of it, the dog boy, that just sounds dumb.
And why is he a werewolf?
A werewolf-like ghost.
A werewolf-like ghost walks on all fours and haunts his childhood home. So it's just a wolf.
Like, was it his punishment?
Like, maybe since he experimented on dogs, so that they turned him into, like,
right.
In the afterlife he became an animal. Why is it? What makes it a werewolf is my question. Like, yeah, that's the part that I don't get. A werewolf-like ghost. Wouldn't it just be a wolf ghost? I don't know.
I'm putting this one under stupid.
Put it under stupid, but it had hope. The Dark Watchers. This is from Santa Lucia Mountains in California. Excuse me. Featureless dark silhouettes, often with brimmed hats or walking sticks, stare down travelers during twilight and dawn in the Santa Lucia Mountains. John Steinbeck briefly mentioned them in Flight. They should not be addressed or acknowledged. I'd put that under spooky.
I mean, that sounds like a good ghost story.
Like
that, but again, that's like it's the urban legend. So I'm more interested in where this came from, like how this originated.
And also, this is another one that I feel like if it's so well known, there would be some kind of evidence. The part especially where it says they should not be addressed or acknowledged makes it sound like many people have come across it. Yeah, what's the harm in acknowledging them? Mm-hmm. Do you die? Are you cursed?
If you don't like this post in 10 minutes, do you...
If I don't forward the Facebook message, will they charge me for Facebook?
If I don't call back the number that left me 2 voicemails today, are local cops going to come and pick me up?
Yeah.
Because I have apparently have 4 charges against me from the IRS.
And I knew you did, and I meant to tell you.
Oh, well, dang it.
And I'm sorry.
I didn't call that number.
I think the Dark Watchers, it's a good ghost story. Yeah. I don't think it's stupid. Is there a middle ground?
I'll put it on scary.
Okay.
I'll put it on scary.
Let's go to Riverdale Road in Thornton, Colorado. The Riverdale Road. Riverdale Road is home to a host of legends. While traveling down the road during a full moon, one can see the hanging bodies of slaves on the trees. They have their own lady in white, but one section of road led to a mansion that contained a satanic cult. The gate to hell itself is reportedly inside the chicken coop. Okay. There's way too much happening in this urban legend.
Yeah, that sounds like it's a failed like movie plot.
Yeah. The fact, all right, so the hanging bodies of slaves in the trees is...
You get one of these. You don't get all 3.
Yeah. Slaves in trees, ghosts, lady in white, and satanic cult, and then a gate to hell inside of a chicken coop.
Yeah,
that's too much. That's too busy. Get all 4. Yeah, too busy. Put it under stupid.
Put it under stupid.
There's too much to not be stupid.
Okay.
All right, this one I'm excited about because everyone's heard about this one. Mm-hmm. Annabelle the Demonic Doll from Monroe, Connecticut. This is the demonic doll in The Conjuring and Annabelle. It's inspired by a real-life Raggedy Ann doll, supposedly inhabited by the spirit of a dead girl, which was given to demonologist Anne Lorraine Warren after some extremely malicious paranormal activity. This did make an appearance in the first Conjuring movie in the beginning, and then got its own movies in the Annabelle films, obviously. Mm-hmm. What I really hate about those movies is the doll itself. because the doll in the movies is so ugly and like disturbing looking.
It's that porcelain doll.
Yeah, but it's like it's clearly a monster doll.
Right.
No one would buy that for their children. The real Annabelle was just a Raggedy Ann. And that's why it was so easy to like accept.
Right.
Nobody would accept the doll in the Annabelle movie.
That said, have you ever seen a porcelain doll that wasn't just objectively terrifying looking?
I have not.
And some people love those things.
And I don't understand that at all. Because they are super creepy. What I really love about the Annabelle story is that, so Ed Warren passed away a couple of years ago. Lorraine Warren is still alive. And they have a fascinating history of paranormal investigations, demonic investigations. They investigated the Enfield haunting, Amityville horror. Or Amityville House, not the Amityville horror. That was the movie that was based on. Whether or not you believe that they're legit or not, their story is fascinating. And she still runs a museum out of the bottom of her house that is filled with cursed objects and occult items, and the Annabelle doll is there behind glass with warnings saying, do not talk to it, do not touch it. It's super creepy. And
so do you think some of that creepiness of it, though, is because of just like the lore behind it and like its presentation?
I do. I think Ed and Lorraine Warren have such a aura about them that it lends credibility to what they say, and I think that makes it creepier. But I do believe that they believe that this is real. I'm not saying that it is real, but I think they think it is because they devoted their entire life to it. This isn't one of those, like, it wasn't a fly-by-night thing. It's not one of those things that, like, they took advantage of people and took their money and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They did investigations. So I've never been around Annabelle,
And
obviously.
like those Conjuring movies are based on them, right?
They are. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Conjuring 1 and 2 are based on Ed and Lorraine Warren. That's the main characters.
Okay.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen any of them.
They're good. I like
I've heard they
both
were
of them.
good.
The first one's about Annabelle, and then I forget the haunting that it was. And the second one's actually about the Enfield haunting from England. So very, very cool. All right.
And then that one is getting its own spin-off because they've done the spin-offs of Annabelle and then The Nun, and then The Crooked Man is getting his own movie.
Which is nuts that they've created a universe out of this. But, I mean, Ed and Lorraine Warren is ripe for all the stuff that they've done. You could write plenty of movies about it. Let's move on to The Corpse Light. This is from Cape Henlopen in Delaware. You want to read this one?
There's no lighthouse in Cape there, but there is a phantom light. It crashed the ship on
Devonshireman?
Christmas of 1665 when more than 200 men died. Allegedly, the light is a curse from a local Native American tribe after British soldiers slaughtered attendees at a wedding ceremony. Now, this one confuses me because the purpose of a lighthouse is to keep ships away from the land.
Yeah.
So if there's a light...
How did it crash a ship?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
Maybe.
The idea of vengeful Native American spirits, like...
That's classic.
It's a classic.
That's classic. And it sounds like a creep show, but I also have... I'm wondering how it crashed a ship... Because if there was no lighthouse, that sounds more like it would crash a ship.
Yes.
Having a lighthouse, that'd be like having an extra stop sign.
Which, granted,
you're not going to cause more wrecks by having an extra stop sign.
Unless it was somewhere that like made them think that, we need to go a certain direction to avoid land.
Right.
And then they ended up...
Like maybe they saw the lighthouse and thought that's where they needed to go, so they pulled toward it. Maybe that was port.
Or they thought it was farther back, so they thought they had more space to get to...
I feel like there would be more crashes from that, so... I'm going to put that in the... I would put it in the stupid. I don't think it's
stupid.
I don't think it's stupid, but it just doesn't sound... it's not adding up for me.
It's on the dumber end. It's on the dumber end of it.
It reminds me of... Have you heard of the St. Louis Lights?
Yes.
This is not in St. Louis, though. This is in Saskatchewan, which is why I addressed it to Josh and Alan. I don't know if they're listening. But there's a ghostly light that is seen on a railroad track that's called the St. Louis Lights, and it's supposed to be a train that had derailed, and it's the train light. And occasionally you'll see a second light, which is supposed to be the conductor who's trying to figure out why the train isn't moving. That is 100% a real thing. Documented and proved that there is a light, and they can't explain what it is. Like, they see the light, and you can never get to it. It's super creepy. No one knows what it is. The best explanation they came up with is that it's reflection of cars in the distance, but no one's proven. You can look up videos of it online. Like, it's 100% a real thing. So the ghost light, I would almost say, could be a real thing, but the story behind it just seems off. Let's go to the Devil's Chair. This is in Casadega, Florida. The Casadega spiritualist camp is full of odd ghosts, but the one chair is supposedly a favorite for the Big Cheese himself. According to local lore, if you sit in it, he'll whisper horrible things in your ear, forever changing you, and if you leave a beer on his chair overnight, he'll drink it, sometimes even if the can is still sealed.
I'm saying stupid.
I'm going to say stupid.
They call him the Big Cheese.
Who are they talking about there? Are they talking about the devil?
I don't know. Again, we don't have information there. I don't know.
Because it's not. When I first saw the name, I thought it was. So there's a chair that a guy was shot in, and I forget where it was, but he was shot in this chair, and it's supposed to be cursed. And he said that anyone that sits in this chair will die, and they have legitimate documented.
I mean,
what?
The death rate everywhere is 100%. You sit in this chair, you're gonna die.
But I mean, on the spot.
Oh, okay.
And people, like 2 or 3 people did die sitting in the chair. Mm-hmm. They have now taken the chair and nailed it to the wall so no one can sit in it anymore.
Challenge accepted.
Oh, fuck. Or forget that.
I got a ladder.
There are some things, it's like that.
Although it'd probably die whenever it, like,
you fell off.
Is it meant to hold human weight? It just crashes down.
Probably not on the wall. It's like that meme I saw of the guy who's going to a boxing match and the other boxer starts doing the Kamehameha. He's just like, I quit. Like, I'm pretty sure he couldn't do it, but I didn't want to take the chance. The cursed pillar in Augusta, Georgia. After a preacher was told he couldn't deliver a sermon next to the pillar, he declared that the whole town would be destroyed and the pillar would be the only thing left standing. A freak tornado later destroyed most of Augusta with the pillar left standing. Stupid. Yeah, so the preacher was told he couldn't deliver a sermon next to it, so then he declared the whole town would be destroyed.
It's like Maleficent. Like, her whole shtick is, like, the reason she went evil is because she didn't get invited to the party.
That's a horrible preacher, and he should be fired immediately. You want to do the next one?
From Hawaii, the Night Marchers, deadly ghosts of ancient Hawaiian warriors that march on the waters during nights honoring ancient gods. The Night Marchers are heralded by chanting and conch shells. If you hear that, run. Again, why? Why are they deadly ghosts?
Yeah, who have they killed?
I need to see these. Because if there are like deaths attributed to the Night Marchers, then okay, yeah, scary. Right. But otherwise, it's like, that just seems like, I mean, it's an interesting lore, and it's this sounds like a spooky thing you tell kids to stay away from the water at night.
Right. But I feel like there's probably very little evidence of it. Mm-hmm. And again, if they're deadly, tell me how they're deadly. The water.
We're being very rough on this infographic from where? Oh God, I lost everything. It's the Night Marchers. From TitleMax.com. Can we just delete this episode?
No.
This is terrible.
I like it. And some of these are legit.
We just need to get to...
We need to get to the good ones. The next one is probably not going to be good.
Because we're only 12 in. I feel like we need to start...
Speeding it up a little?
Yeah.
All right, the Water Babies of Massacre Rocks in Pocatello, Indiana. Sit by the river and you can hear the sounds of babies crying. They're the babies that mothers were forced to kill during a famine rather than see them starve. Some say that these babies evolved into tricky creatures with fins and gills. You had me until the end.
Yep, because the dead things evolved?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
I don't think ghosts evolved. Put it in the stupid category.
Yeah.
Let's just take turns doing it.
Okay. Ghost Elephants, Forest Park, Illinois.
I've heard of this one.
Real life 1918 train wreck of circus cars leading to troop deaths has popularized the legend that elephants had to be buried where they fell. Now supposedly the circus still takes place at night in Woodlawn Cemetery.
I'd put that in the spooky category. Because there's nothing saying that they kill. There's nothing like overly stupid. It's just that there was a real life train wreck, which is a real thing. Mm-hmm. I looked into it. And that the animals and people that died still put on the circus where they passed away. That's a good ghost story.
It can be, but you're not going to call that ghost story ghost elephants.
I attribute that to Title Max. Title Max should have done better. The green clawed beast in the Ohio River in Quitman, Indiana. Is that the second Quitman? I'm pretty sure wasn't there a Quitman, Arkansas that we just read?
I'm not sure.
I'm looking it up.
Start reading it and I'll look.
Yeah, Quitman, Arkansas was the dog boy.
Huh.
And now we have
So if you live in a town called Quitman...
Get out.
Yeah.
Get out.
Run.
With hairy arms, clawed hands, and green skin, this human-sized creature grabs unsuspecting women. Some believe the specific incident that inspired the legend was an extraterrestrial visit related to the Kentucky Goblin sightings, which happened on the same day.
Not up for debate, stupid.
you just
Indiana's-
overwrite that one?
Yeah, no, no, just no. The Villisca Axe Murder House in Villisca, Iowa.
I saw a movie based on this one.
Based on real events, this 1912 cold case features a whole family, 2 parents, 4 children, and 2 house guests being bludgeoned to death in their sleep. Since then, the house has been the source of odd paranormal activity, such as a ghost hunter stabbing himself in the chest in 2014.
Real. That's all real.
I'll put it on spooky just because it's like a real thing that happened.
Yeah, none of this says the ghost killed him. He just killed himself, and that's true.
So do you know about the ghost hunter thing that stabbed himself in the chest? Like, did he die from it, or?
I don't know if he died. I heard about the stabbing because they were asking whether he went insane or if it was a ghost possession or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if he died. I would assume he didn't because they didn't say he killed himself, but stabbing himself in the chest sounds very final. But the Villisca Axe Murder House, there's a pretty decent movie about it. I saw it on Netflix. It wasn't great, but it was
because then isn't the going theory that it was just like a traveling it was just 2 psychos?
Well, the movie I think attributed it to I think it was a doctor or something, but they never solved it.
Yeah.
It's like Jack the Ripper.
It's a cold case.
The Gateway to Hell. Ooh. In Stoll, Kansas, one of the several gateways to hell in America, the stairs in an old demolished church open to the other side on Halloween and the spring equinox.
Stupid because of the timing.
Yeah, and there's very little there to go on.
I thought the gateway to hell was in a chicken coop.
The actual gateway to hell is in what the hell?
Isn't it in the basement of like a rock and roll club?
Yeah, Bobby Mackey's.
Yeah.
Which is supposed to be super duper haunted.
I've seen a couple, Ghost Adventures went there. And,
many times. And a couple other places, yeah. Good luck with the next one.
The Kentucky Goblins. Famed Little League roller hockey team. Based out of Hopkinsville, Kentucky.
Of course it is.
The Kelly Hopkinsville encounter was a supposed extraterrestrial visit by small goblin-like green hairless children with 3 toes. While most skeptics easily dismissed him as owls, there have been a new... What is that?
Wave.
A new wave of recent... My phone is super low quality,
Yeah, you have to understand why.
Been a new wave of recent sightings of them on the other side of Kentucky. Which one do you think this belongs in, Shannon?
Well, so... Here's the thing about this one.
That have been easily dismissed as owls.
Here's the thing about this one. I think this is actually the story I've told you guys before about the family in the farmhouse who were attacked by creatures and shot at them and then left. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking it up now, and it is. The name is stupid, but this is actually a pretty famous case where these people shot out of their home for hours because they were under siege by these creatures, which they did say they were probably owls, and the family was like, no, we know what we saw. So maybe the whole Kentucky Goblin name is dumb. I'll say put it under stupid because that sounds dumb.
I've already made my mark.
But that is an interesting story, and I think it's one people should look into. This one I don't even know how to pronounce.
I kind of want to I feel like maybe at work tomorrow or if I'm slow, I will look more into these and get more in depth and see which ones where they're actually based off of.
Some of these are pretty interesting, like that Kentucky Goblins thing. I don't know why they're called. I think they call them Kentucky Goblins.
That sounds like someone drunk on Kentucky moonshine freaked out because they saw some owls.
They said it was aliens, but then they were like, don't call them aliens. Mm-hmm. So I guess the Kentucky Goblin sounded better. What about the Rougarou, maybe, in Acadiana, Louisiana? Kristen?
I'm assuming that's Creole.
Krista, not Kristen. I'm so sorry. A pale white werewolf-like creature prowls the swamps and often stars in stories to encourage children to behave, such as hunting down Catholics who don't practice Lent. Holy shit!
I grew up Catholic. I never knew about the Rougarou.
Were you afraid of him?
No.
Stupid?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're moving on. Colonel Buck's tomb in Bucksport. Oh, why do I not know what? Maine. Jesus.
I was too.
Jesus. MEs should not be.
I was also.
Because MA is Massachusetts. Did we skip Massachusetts?
Maybe there's not one in Massachusetts. No.
It's
below.
Maryland's next. I don't know the alphabet. After a woman became pregnant with Colonel Buck's son, he forced her out to take care of the babe alone. Later, having her burned as a witch, the son ran off with the witch's leg
Oh my
that
God.
had rolled out of the bonfire and he later cursed the colonel's tomb, which now bears the stain of a leg, despite several attempts to clean, replace, or remove it. This sounds like there's a weird thing with the tomb, so they came up with this backstory later.
Like they couldn't clean it, and they're like, well, that's just going to be a stain on the tomb, and someone's going to get mad at us. What do we do? The witch?
Janitor showed up. I'm hungover. I'm not gonna. The chemicals give me a headache. It's a cursed tomb.
It's a witch.
No, it's just there forever.
Yeah.
We tried everything.
Yeah, witch's leg. Don't touch it or you'll be cursed
He burned
too.
the innocent woman as a witch.
Yeah.
But burning her made her a witch? So now it's cursed?
Well, the son ran off with her leg.
With the witches, it says she was burned as a witch. Okay, like, this sounds like he framed her.
Yeah.
But it was like, and then the article just goes on with it.
That's
and then they took the witch's leg.
that sounds like something I made up on After Dark. Like that was part of the story. All right, what about the Goat Man in Prince George's County, Maryland? This legend stirred so much enthusiasm that the USDA at one point had to formally deny the creation of the Goat Man in their Beltsville Research Agricultural Center. The half-man, half-goat creature likes to chase down teenagers in Lover's Lane and distract drivers on Crybaby Bridge. I think the Goat Man's one of the more famous monsters of urban lore. So for that reason, I'm going to go ahead and put it. I wish there was a middle ground.
No, the idea of a goat man is just.
Well, again, when you hear Goat Man, I think what they kind of mean, maybe it's a devil or a demon, and the Goat Man is just the name they gave to it. So I think it's like the name is stupid, but I like the story.
The story behind it.
I really wish there was a middle ground.
We'll do a middle one.
All right, we're gonna start a middle one. This is for ones that like don't really go in either one. All right.
I don't want to say this word.
Yeah, you do.
I don't want to say this word.
Go for it.
The Puckwudgies in Hockomock Swamp, Massachusetts.
That sounds like a setting of a Looney Tunes cartoon.
Yeah,
Hockomock.
tiny gray tricksters resembling humanoid porcupines will lure people off cliffs or trap them in sand in the swampy regions of Massachusetts.
I'm gonna assume you're putting that in stupid.
How did you know me so well?
The Nain Rouge from Detroit, Michigan. I feel like Detroit could do better than this. Detroit is haunted by a small impish hobgoblin who predicts misfortune and has cursed the city. He was seen in the 1805 fire, which nearly destroyed the whole city, the 1968 riots, and the 1976 ice storm. Today, a banishment parade is celebrated yearly. It's cool that they do a yearly parade to celebrate him.
I kind of like that.
I
actually do think that's kind of neat that it's just like, okay, our town has had some shit luck.
Yeah.
You know what? There's this goblin
that everyone talked about. Let's have a parade to keep it away.
That said, not scary, stupid.
It's pretty stupid. Like, how does he predict misfortune? Because he was seen at the events, how is that predicting them?
Right, and I would be interested to see like how he would, like where he was seen, like those kind of stories, because those could be interesting. But the Wendigo in northern Minnesota.
Now we're talking.
This is one of the oldest legendary monsters, dating back to the folklore of Native Americans who hunted these 15-foot tall, shape-shifting creatures even into the early 20th century. Anyone who resorts to cannibalism and tastes human flesh will become one.
So this one is very much a Native American legend, and it was created pretty much because cannibalism was a thing in Native American history, and this was kind of a way for them to shy people away from eating other people.
Yeah.
So it's very much, I think, just a legend, but it's a really cool legend.
Yeah.
And the Wendigo creature itself, so the picture that they have for it is actually the same picture that I saw, but much less detail, of just a giant, almost rotting deer with human parts inside of it. And that is so terrifying. I have a script that I was working on. I still want to finish about the Wendigo because I love it. I love the story of it so much. I absolutely love the Wendigo. Also, there was a show. Have you ever seen the show Fear Itself?
No, I don't think so.
It was an anthology series on NBC that was pretty good. And there's a really good episode about the Wendigo starring Doug Jones, who does like Hellboy or Ape Sapien.
Everything cool that you would never recognize him in.
Yeah, because but this time he's him, but much creepier, like almost like wasting away because he is turning into a Wendigo. Very, very cool.
We saw that one. There was that movie that we saw about the Wendigo, and then the twist ending that there's.
Which movie was that?
I don't remember the name of it.
Did we watch it?
Yeah, we watched it here. Probably about 2 years ago.
We'll have to talk about that after the show.
Small town, like it's in the middle of winter. And it's being terrorized by this thing that came out of the woods, and no one really knows what it is.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I can't even remember any of the actors in it. We'll figure it out after.
We'll have to figure it out because we got to move on to what looks like killer amoebas. amoebas.
Yes.
That's your turn.
No, I just did Wendigo.
Oh, hell, I don't want that. I wanted the Wendigo. Also, that was a terrible Supernatural episode. Remember the Wendigo episode where it was just like a bald dude? It was what, first season, so you might not remember it.
I know. I remember not hating the episode, but it's been forever since I've seen it.
Mercuritis in Mississippi. The story is an odd myth. It's about a disease. Supposedly, a horrible outbreak wrecked much of a rural Mississippi town and was later covered up by the government and medical community. If a man ingested too much lead, he would produce a smell that would cause a hormonal reaction in women who descend into mad homicidal fits. Not spooky. It's kind of cool, but I also feel like if that was a thing, that wouldn't be an urban legend.
Yeah, don't eat lead. Like, don't.
That's
eat,
a good idea.
You're not supposed to eat a lot of lead. That, yeah. I don't know. Okay.
It's the whole women descending into mad homicidal fits that makes me go, what?
Yeah. Number 25, Zombie Road here in Wildwood, Missouri. I say
Not
here.
too. No, it's only like an hour and a half away, 2 hours away.
Stories about strange deaths along the road as far back as Native American times and drownings in the nearby river made it a fun, haunted spot for teenagers for decades. But many of them have perished in strange accidents too. Today, dark shadows follow you, seen only out of the corner of your eye.
I don't know about the whole they've perished too thing.
Well, I mean, if they were teenagers in like the 20s,
they probably
died. Probably have perished.
I've seen pictures of Zombie Road. There's a really famous picture that someone took in the kind of like at dusk where you just see along the top all of these human zombie-like forms staring at you. Mm-hmm. And it's just the way that the trees are. Like it's just trees, but the way the light hits it and stuff is incredibly creepy. I would put this under the spooky category.
I'm putting this under stupid.
Really?
Because of the description.
Which part?
Just the fact that it's like, oh, weird things happen around a road. Like there's no specifics. There's just like people die on the road or drown in the river. Yes. Those things happen.
I like this one more for the just for the creep. It's the atmosphere that's creepy, but I don't think there's anything to the story.
And I'm blaming it on the presentation.
It's Title Max.
I'm blaming it on the presentation.
Damn Title Max. The Phantom Hitchhiker of Black Horse Lake in Cascade County, Montana. A Native American man with long black hair wearing an outdated baggy jacket and jeans collides with cars, suddenly appearing on their windshield, only for him to vanish without a dent. He's also been known to hitch a ride and chase cars at inhuman speeds. Stupid.
I mean, that sounds creepier than some of them, but yeah, I'll give you that one.
It's the fact that so this Native American ghost just jumps on your car for insurance, maybe? Like,
yeah.
is it?
He's perpetually committing insurance fraud.
It's an otherworldly scam.
He's filling out the Saints Row 2 missions.
I hated those missions. This is the one you've been waiting for.
This is the one.
This is the
Ladies
one.
and gentlemen, we're shutting it down. Radioactive hornets.
Yes.
Out of Nebraska. This is a recent urban legend after the
Fukushima.
That nuclear disaster. The locals of Nebraska believed that mutant hornets from that area had grown to 4 times their normal size and were running rampant locally.
So the Fukushima nuclear disaster was a couple years ago in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
Remember they had I think it was during the flood or whatever, or the tsunami, or I forget what it was exactly. I know that's terrible of me. I'm just blame the medicine. That was tragic, and there's apparently a lot of ghost stories that have come out of that of people that have died. Mm-hmm. This is the first time I've heard about giant radioactive hornets.
In Nebraska.
Yeah.
Like, they flew across the ocean.
To get to Nebraska.
And across half the country.
Yeah.
To make it to Nebraska.
Well, I mean, I hear Nebraska's nice.
I'm putting it as stupid.
Can you put it twice
despite the fact,
as stupid?
Despite the fact that the idea of 4 times the normal size pissed off hornets sounds like an actual nightmare.
That's why we talk about Pokemon. Beedrill would be the most terrifying Pokemon.
Yep.
Little child-sized wasp. To hell with that. The Spiteful Mermaid of Pyramid Lake in Pyramid Lake, Nevada. While Area 51 gets all the fame and glory for its supposed alien autopsies, fewer people know about the curse on Pyramid Lake, which happened after a Paiute man, I guess, fell in love with a mermaid. His tribe rejected her and told him to throw her back in.
I think it's Pout.
Pout?
Yeah.
Is it Indian?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay. His tribe rejected her and told him to throw her back in. She cursed the lake, brought the settlers, and ignited a war. In modern times, the lake has drowned locals, spitting them out as far as Lake Tahoe. Stupid. Stupid. Stupid.
You're skipping over Area 51, the most recognizable, well-known.
I guess I said they wanted obscure. That's pretty obscure. Again, considering you've got Area 51, whatever.
Goody Cole, Eunice Goody Cole, was blamed for numerous local tragedies and accused of witchcraft twice. Legend says the locals staked her heart to make sure she wouldn't bother them, but they continued to blame numerous events on her. Some say she still pays a visit from time to time. This one's stupid. This is just, there was a lady and no one liked her. So they just blamed all the bad stuff. Like, New Hampshire, you are petty.
AF. Petty AF. The ghost boy of Clinton Road in Passaic County, New Jersey. What? All right. Hiding under one of the bridges of Clinton Road is a ghost boy, but don't worry. He's pretty nice and helpful. If you throw a coin to the river, he'll return it to you. Stupid, stupid, stupid. You're telling me you're going to do New Jersey and you're not going to do
the Jersey
Devil? That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I don't even want to talk about it. Move on.
La Mala Hora, New Mexico. If you're traveling alone in country crossroads after dark, avoid this demon, which appears as a woman. She drives people insane, and if you see her, either you or someone you love will die. Too broad to be scary.
Yeah, that's stupid. Cropsey, Staten Island, New York. This escaped mental patient with a hook for a hand would snatch children in Staten Island, but the old legend became horrifyingly real when a killer named Andre Rand was caught in the 1970s. Legit happened. I watched a documentary on it.
Putting it as scary.
It was, yeah, because it's real. Like, this dude was literally killing kids, and they heard the story, and they just kind of attributed the name Cropsey to it, but it was a real thing.
Yeah, and they never assumed that they were connected killings. Everything was,
That's legit creepy.
The vampire beast of Bladenboro, North Carolina. Gruesome deaths in the 1950s of mutilated livestock and dogs, drained of blood, led to reports of something vaguely feline and huge living near Bladenboro. That just sounds like a
giant cat or cougar or something.
So,
yeah.
North Carolina, you just made the list.
You're just stupid. Oh my God.
Come on.
Mini Washatu in Missouri River, New Delaware. No. What's Indy again?
North Dakota?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm tired.
New Delaware.
I'm sorry. The red bison
Fuck you, old Delaware. We got our New Delaware.
It's better. The red bison-like water monster of the Missouri River travels upstream to break ice. Anyone who sees it alone in the daytime will go insane. Stupid. The picture is stupid.
The picture is
It's just a cyclops animal with a giant horn.
We're going to have to put this on our on the Facebook page.
Oh, yeah.
Don't listen to this episode. Just go through the list. The Loveland Frog from Loveland, Ohio. A humanoid 4-foot frog apparently hangs out on the sides of roads in Loveland at night, and it will stand up on its hind legs, wave a wand over its head, and shoot sparks to deter humans.
Don't you put that under stupid.
Watch me.
That's amazing.
It ain't scary.
Oh, my God. My favorite part about that is that he waves a wand and shoots sparks. And it's a frog. Okay. I don't even want to move on.
I'm pretty sure it's just iDubbbz in his green, like, full bodysuit with a Roman candle.
Oh, my God. The Men in Black at Shaman's Portal in Beaver, Oklahoma. Beaver Dunes Park is the Bermuda Triangle of Oklahoma, with weird disappearances dating back as far as Coronado's time, when his men disappeared in flashes of green light. In recent times, archaeologists have been chased away from the site by mysterious government officials. According to superstition, anyone who learns anything about what's truly buried underneath the sand disappears. It's just a Men in Black story, and the fact that it's just around a park, I don't know. It doesn't sell me.
All right, Oklahoma's done.
You made the list.
The Bandaged Man in Cannon Beach, Oregon. The ghost of a logger who died in a grisly sawmill accident attacks cars and terrorizes teenagers. The smell of rotting flesh predicts a visit. I'm putting that on scary.
Yeah.
Because it's just, it's just
vague enough.
And that seems like it could be a based in reality type deal.
Right, it didn't go too far and explains.
Jesus.
Yeah, the next one's pretty bad. Charlie No Face from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Rumors of a murderous, faceless man roaming the streets at night were based on a real-life person who'd suffered an extreme accident that destroyed his face. He wasn't, as it turns out, a murderer. He walked at night because he wanted to get fresh air and be left alone. The legend stuck, however.
I'm putting that as spooky, just because I feel really bad for him.
Yeah.
That's just sad.
Right, the fact that he just had no face and they just called him a monster for it.
Right. People are the worst. Mercy Brown, the Vampire, in Bucksport, Rhode Island. Outbreaks of tuberculosis caused a vampire scare in 1892 when a full family contracted the disease. While most of her family's bodies decomposed, Mercy's body seemed to be frozen in time, making people suspect her to be a vampire. While it was obviously superstition, the legend persisted.
I like this one. I actually just talked about this on I Want to Believe on the last show.
Really?
Because there is another person that, and I forget her name now. You'd have to go back and listen to it. But there's another person that got that attributed to her. That this college professor in like the 70s relayed this story to his students, but didn't give exact details. So they went looking for this vampire. And they found another woman who died around the same time and assumed it was her. So now the legend is that she is a vampire, and apparently her ghost haunts the cemetery, and you'll hear whispers saying things like she's not a vampire and stuff like that. And it's supposed to be like super creepy. So I actually like that story a lot.
I'll take it.
Boo hags. Again, go check out I Want to Believe's last episode. Boo hags from the southern coastal region of South Carolina. Gula? Yeah. Folklore tells us about evil souls who stay behind after death and become skinless, vampire-like witches who take other people's skin for a ride.
I'm putting that one as dumb.
I would agree. It's too vague to be scary.
And I know we're saying some of these are too vague, some of these aren't vague enough. Like, some of them are too vague to be good, some of them are just vague enough. It's a fine line. It's a fine line here.
But it's our line.
Also, skinless vampire witches.
Who steals your skin.
Yeah.
Seems...
Take them for a ride.
Yeah. Is that an urban legend? How many skinless bodies did they find?
Walking Sam from the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation in South Dakota. A 7-foot-tall specter whose job is to collect the souls of suicide victims stalks lonely, depressed adolescents. Perhaps he's an explanation for the alarmingly high suicide rates in the area of the few recent attempts at mass suicide. That just sounds like I
think that's a harder one to...
I want to skip this one just because this seems like it's something like people are trying to attribute to just the uncanny,
like you're
disproportionate amount of suicides that take place on Indian reservations.
Yeah, like you're taking a real life tragedy and spinning it.
And they're trying to, like not justify it, but like
lessen the impact.
Yeah, so I don't want to say that's stupid.
You
but
feel
I also
dirty?
I don't want to put that as scary either.
We're going to skip that one. And let's go to Skinned Tom in Wallen, Tennessee. Don't woo the wrong lady like young Tom did. He ended up getting skinned alive by a beautiful woman's angry husband. His bloody ghost hangs around Lover's Lane to punish cheaters.
I kind of like it.
I do too. Because it seems creepy, like if you were on Lover's Lane and you were making out with like your best friend's girlfriend and a skinless guy walked up to the car.
And the reason I like it is because it's not like this was a thing, like the woman lured people to have her husband skinned. Like that could have been an easy leap to make.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it on scary.
Okay.
The Candy Lady.
Oh, I like this one.
Bradley. The Candy Lady from Terrell, Texas. Candy left out on the windowsill is meant to lure out children to a spectral woman. Can pull out their teeth. Oh, so a spectral woman. Sorry.
He's reading on a little phone. I want to point that out.
Yeah, and it gets real grainy when you try to zoom in, and you have to zoom in.
Right.
Women can pull out their teeth to kidnap them.
Or
pull out their teeth, kidnap them, or stab them in the eyes.
Jesus.
The story may have been linked to a real person, Clara Crane, who killed her husband by poisoning Candy and was later released from an institution.
That's a big leap.
It's a big leap, but I'm putting it as scary because it's the whole, like, I like them when they're based on actual, like, people. Here's an individual, here's a name, you can look into this story yourself.
The curse on Escalante Petrified Forest in Escalante, Utah. Anyone who takes petrified wood from the state park befalls bad luck, job loss, sickness, and accidents. Park managers claim they get dozens of packages every year sending back chunks of wood from regretful thieves. I'd put that under spooky. But it's the last part that gets me, that people are
actively just returning it.
I don't think that people actually are being cursed, but they believe it, and that makes it spooky to me. That's like Robert the Doll, who is in, I think, Key West or Pensacola or something like that, and it's kind of like Annabelle. There's all these things that says don't taunt him, stuff like that, because he's supposed to be haunted. And people that
throw my pen.
People that make fun of him or taunt him in any way get cursed. And if you ever visit, there are tons of letters behind him begging him to lift the curse that people think they got because they taunted him. So that's cool to
me. Keep going because I just lost the site.
Deep Frozen Folks. This sounds like a good one. In Montpelier, Vermont, Oh, God. Frugal Vermonters facing extreme winters have been said to freeze their elderly and thaw them in the spring. What? I don't think it works that way.
Is this more scary or utilitarian?
Or both.
Yeah, that's stupid.
It's pretty stupid. Why don't you take the next one? Oh, we definitely take the next one.
Thank you for this.
You're welcome.
The Bunny Man in Clifton, Virginia. Again. Wait a minute.
The Bunny Man.
What was Pennsylvania's?
Pennsylvania was Charlie No Face.
You're not going to do the Mothman?
Yeah.
You're going to do just a poor guy?
You're going to do the Bunny Man instead of the Mothman.
Oh, yeah, because that was Virginia, too. On Halloween many years ago, a bus of transferring asylum inmates crashed with one of the inmates escaping. For years, skinned, half-eaten rabbits were found hanging from the trees near Bunny Bridge. Even after the supposed culprit died, eventually he allegedly attacked humans too, bodies strung up over the bridge. You know what? The name's stupid, but I like that story. That's a movie I would see.
I also feel like that's another one that you could look into how many bodies were actually found hanging over the bridge to really find out if it's true or not, but that would creep me out as a kid.
Yeah.
Caddy of Cat. Yeah, why did they not do the Mothman? Like
they're getting too close to the
Point
truth.
Pleasant. Caddy of Cadboro Bay. Cadboro Bay, Washington. While the legendary Bigfoot gets a great deal of attention in this state, don't care, hate Bigfoot, you might not have heard of Caddy, short for Cadborosaurus, the local sea monster hanging out in Cadboro Bay. So it's just a Nessie. It's a Nessie.
Fake Nessie. Nessie's fake. This is fake. Move on.
It's an Ogopogo. It's all those things.
Ogopogo.
That's the scariest one.
The White Things in West Virginia.
Uh-oh.
Mothman might be the more popular mystery, but rural West Virginia is also home to mysterious dog-like creatures the size of a lion with white shaggy fur. And we're marking that as stupid. Next.
Yes. Again, Mothman's much better. The Rhinelander Hodag in Rhinelander, Wisconsin. An ugly, stumpy critter with a spiked tail. The Hodag features in Paul Bunyan stories and reportedly likes to eat bulldogs. Very stupid. And if you've got Wisconsin, why would you not go over the Beast of Bray Road, which is a very legendary werewolf that has been seen there multiple times?
The final one, the Platte River Ship from Platte River, Wyoming. Through thick mist, usually in February, a ship can be seen sailing the Platte River, its phantom crew frosted over. On the deck, you'll allegedly see the body of someone you know or yourself. Either way, the person's death will come soon.
I'm a big fan of ghost ships.
Yeah, and that...
The last part's kind of iffy, the whole you'll see yourself or someone you know, but ghost ships always get me. Like the whole, what's the famous, the Flying Dutchman, stuff like that. That always gets me. I love ghost ships. So, all right. So we've tallied up which ones were good, which ones were bad. What are we looking at?
So we abstained from one.
Yes,
because it just felt...
It was sensitive.
Yeah. I'm moving the middle one because we only did the one middle one, the Goat Man. I'm moving that to stupid just because the description for it left it to be stupid.
I'll give it to you.
The final count was there were 16 that we deemed scary. 32 stupid.
That doesn't surprise me. Not every state can have a winner. And some states failed because they didn't pick the obvious ones, which I guess they were going for obscure. But if you're going for obscure... There are some on there that are not obscure. I also
think I missed one. Those numbers don't add up. I don't care.
It doesn't matter. He's
not one of our best shows.
I disagree. I love this show. Do you not like this show?
Just the listing of it kind of seemed like it took I don't know. Maybe people liked it. I hope they did.
I think they did because I think we taught people eat this stuff up, and there's a lot that I didn't know about that I learned about today. But again, I question the fact that you have so many. You say you're going for obscure, but then you have so many of those that were like very well known, like the Goat Man. But at the same time, you don't go with Mothman
or Jersey Devil.
You don't go with the Jersey Devil, yeah. So that just seems strange to me. But if you think you have an urban legend of your own and you want to send it to us, we'd love to hear it. Have you heard local stories about hauntings or monsters that you want to share with the entire Podzilla 1985 crew? Hey, send it to us via email at literally anything at podzilla1985.com, or you can always hit us up on facebook.com/podzilla1985. Let us know, or you can even message post on I Want to Believe's specific page, which is really dedicated to the paranormal. So
yes.
Yeah, no, I love what you brought to the table tonight. I appreciate it. Otherwise, we probably just would have talked about Call of Duty.
Oh, let's go back.
You want to do a second show? Just erase this one?
Yeah.
Call of Duty is really fun. I went top 10 last night in blackout mode with 2 kills, and 2 kills was fantastic for me. I'm pretty sure of all my friends, I'm the only one that has any experience in blackout mode.
No, because we played it that first night waiting on it to install. So, but yeah, I mean, you have the most experience with it, I'm sure.
Yeah. Because I'm also probably the only one that's played it since then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't want to play it solo.
That's what I did. I did solo. I didn't do groups because I don't want to screw anyone else's fun up.
See, and that's like the thing is like I would only do it with like you as duos,
right?
Or like when me and Dalton were playing as duos,
or us plus Jesse or Tanner for a quad.
If we could get enough to fill up a full squad.
I will say that once you have it completely installed, it does look significantly better.
Does it?
Yeah, because when I played it, I think Lindsay was sitting next to me, and I was like, it looks so much better. Because when we played it when it was installing, it looked like PUBG on low settings on a computer. Now it looks like Call of Duty,
except it ran well.
Yeah, it runs better now because there was times where it was like super chuggy during that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I just assumed that was because it was such a big mode. But no, I haven't had any lag problems or frame rate spikes playing it fully installed. I did have it on though. We were playing. Bob was playing on one of the maps on just multiplayer, and I forget which one it was, but it's like a tropical jungle kind of with the ocean. And man, it was running at like 20 frames per second. I don't know if that's just because the level was so graphically intensive or what, but it kind of sucked. Oh no. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. We're going to get out of here. We will see you guys tomorrow on Pro Wrestling Unscripted. We have a lot to talk about, including that insane Austin Aries debacle from over the weekend. So we'll do that tomorrow. Want to remind you guys, Facebook.com/Podzilla1985. Come interact with us. Talk about urban legends in your area. Get in the Halloween spirit. We love it. You can also find all of our new shows and old shows on Podzilla1985.com. The entire back catalog is there. And of course, Patreon.com/Podzilla1985. For $1, you get access to our pre-shows, which are very entertaining in their own right, including today's episode about Juggerduck. We have a new tier on there.
We do.
You want to tell us about that real quick?
We have a fantastic new tier on Patreon for only $420.69.
So cheap.
We will send you an audio recording of Allie dropping the F-bomb.
Yes, our very own Allie Bear, Princess Teddy Bear herself, the sweetest and most purest individual you'll ever meet, will drop that F-bomb just for you.
We've come close to getting it naturally on the show.
Yeah.
But it's not going to happen, I don't think.
But just like WWE, money talks. So,
oh, boy.
Yeah. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow. You have a great night. And again, look out your window. You never know what you're going to spot. Have a good night, guys.